Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to the SmackDown and AEW Rampage review. SmackDown tonight was from the Wells Fargo Arena in Des Moines, Iowa, while Rampage was taped from the Broadmoor World Arena in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And SmackDown tonight, I thought the show was just a very mid-show in my opinion. We had 4 Money in the Bank qualifying matches. We saw Santos Escobar end up taking on Mustafa Ali. We had Bayley end up taking on Mia Yim. Butch ended up taking on Baron Corbin. And Io Sky took on Shotzi. So those were your 4 Money in the Bank qualifying matches that we saw tonight on SmackDown. We also had Jey Uso making a decision on whether he's going to be with his brother Jimmy or side with the Bloodline, and be with Solo Sikoa and Roman Reigns. Even though Roman wasn't even on the show tonight. But in the main event, Jey Uso was in action, and he had taken on Austin Theory for the United States Championship. And we also saw a return tonight, which I'm like, oh God, this one is back. Jesus Christ. Because we had Asuka come out, and they introduced a new women's championship, which I will get to that, when I, talk about that segment. Oh God. That fucking segment, man. But if you guys haven't checked out my previous video that I uploaded earlier today, saw Transformers Rise of the Beast, did a movie review on it. So definitely check out my movie review of that if you guys haven't seen it. But, really enjoyed the film. It was a lot of fun. It was awesome. But check out my review of Transformers Rise of the Beast if you guys haven't seen it. But anyways, let's jump right into the review. So SmackDown opened up tonight from the Wells Fargo Arena in Des Moines, Iowa. It opened up with Paul Heyman and Solo Sikoa in the ring. So Paul Heyman was introducing himself, and out came Jey Uso. Jey Uso got into the ring. The fans there in Des Moines were chanting Uso. So Jay got on the mic, and he kept telling Sikoa that he let a lot of things slide. He kept saying, but stabbing their big brother in the back is something you don't do. Jay ended up saying that he doesn't know if he can forgive Sikoa for that. So he threw the mic onto Sikoa, and Jay ended up telling Sikoa to say what he has to say. So Paul Heyman ended up telling Jay that he has it all wrong. And here is why. Paul Heyman ended up saying that it's not Sikoa's fault, it's not his fault, it's not Paul Heyman's fault, and it's not Roman's fault. And it's not Jay's fault. And it is all Jimmy's fault. Paul Heyman ended up saying that it's Jimmy's fault because he made up his own mind, and not just for himself, but for Jay too. So Paul Heyman ended up telling Sikoa to take a step back. Paul Heyman then ended up telling Jay that he is no physical threat, and that he has taken a chance standing close to him. He ended up saying that when Jimmy kicked Roman, he did not ask Jay about it, and that he was not in on it. So he ended up saying that Jimmy pulled the trigger for them because he is the older brother. Paul Heyman ended up saying no disrespect to Jimmy, but Jimmy always resented Jay because Jimmy is in on the fact that Roman wants to groom Jay, the right-hand man, to be the next tribal chief. So Paul Heyman ended up saying that it was never going to be Jimmy, and Jimmy has known it since day one, and he has resented Jay for it ever since. Paul Heyman then ended up telling Jay that he will prove the truth. He ended up saying tonight, at the request of Roman Reigns, he has arranged a match that sets Jay's trajectory to becoming the next tribal chief. So Paul Heyman ended up saying that tonight, Jay will bring gold back to the bloodline, but not tag team gold. And he ended up saying, unfortunately, thanks to Jimmy, there is no more tag team in the WWE known as the Usos. So Paul Heyman ended up saying that Jay will defeat Austin Theory for the United States Championship. And his path to becoming the heavyweight champion starts tonight. And it starts with Jay beating Austin Theory. So Paul Heyman ended up saying that Roman will publicly groom him that someday when the time is right. And that Jay will become the tribal chief. So Paul Heyman ended up saying that he needs Jay's answer. So Paul Heyman ended up giving Jay the mic. Jay ended up telling Paul Heyman that he will take him up for the United States Challenge, for the United States Championship Challenge against Austin Theory. Paul Heyman then extended his hand. Jay then hesitated. So Jay ended up looking at Paul Heyman, and then he looked at Sikoa. Jay looked around at the crowd, and the crowd started chanting no as Jay leaned onto the ropes. So Jay ended up saying that he will get back to Paul Heyman on the handshake. So Jay then left the ring, and pretty much that was basically that. But overall, I thought this was a decent, opening to SmackDown here. Paul Heyman wants to know if Jay will side with Solo Sikoa, him and Roman Reigns, or will he side with Jimmy? So, it was, pretty decent opening to the show. Drinking a Snapple pink lemonade. These are hard to come by. You can't find these, in some stores. But Snapple pink lemonade, it's very good. Like I said, hard to come by in some stores. So then, as SmackDown came back from the commercial, we had the first match of the night. Santos Escobar versus Mustafa Ali. This was a Money in the Bank qualifying match. And this was a pretty good match here. LA Knight was on commentary during the match. LA Knight being there. Yeah! So the match got underway. We had both Escobar and Mustafa Ali started exchanging chops to their chests. Mustafa Ali delivered a Hurricanrana, and Escobar ended up falling to the outside. Escobar ended up grabbing Ali, ended up sliding him to the outside. Escobar delivered a chop to Ali's chest. He then placed Ali on the ring apron, but Ali came back and delivered a headbutt to Escobar. Escobar ended up pushing Ali onto the ring post, and then he delivered a Hurricanrana to Mustafa Ali off the ring apron onto the floor, which was great. Escobar ended up throwing Mustafa Ali back into the ring, and Escobar ended up going for the cover. Mustafa Ali then kicked out. Ali then rolled back to the outside. Escobar then delivered a suicide dive to Ali. Escobar then climbed the top rope, and then he delivered a crossbody onto Mustafa Ali. And then SmackDown went to commercial. Then when SmackDown came back from the commercial, Mustafa Ali was shown on the outside. Escobar jumped off the top rope, and Mustafa Ali ended up hitting Escobar with a drop kick. Ali then threw Escobar back to the ring. He went to the top rope, and he ended up going for the 450, to which Escobar moved out of the way. So Ali ended up landing on his way, and he ended up running towards Escobar in the corner, but Mustafa Ali ended up hitting face first onto the turnbuckle. Escobar then ended up dropping Ali head first onto the mat. So Escobar ended up going for the cover, and Mustafa Ali ended up kicking out. Escobar then delivered the double knees to Mustafa Ali. He grabbed Ali, but Ali ended up rolling Escobar up, and Escobar ended up kicking out. Mustafa Ali then delivered a tornado DDT to Escobar. He went for the cover. Escobar kicked out. So Ali ended up climbing up to the top rope. Escobar ended up delivering a kick, which slowed Mustafa Ali down. Escobar was on the second rope, and he delivered a phantom driver off the second rope to Mustafa Ali. He ended up going for the cover. And there you go. Santos Escobar ended up winning the match. And Santos Escobar will be in the Money in the Bank match. Post-match, the rest of the LWO, Cruz del Toro, Joaquin Wilde, Zelina Vega, end up coming out, end up celebrating with Santos and Rey Mysterio. So pretty much that was basically that. But overall, this was a pretty good match between Escobar and Mustafa Ali. Obviously, we all knew that Mustafa Ali was going to take the L in this match, even though Mustafa Ali was on NXT on Tuesday night and won a match. But back to Mustafa Ali taking L's. So then we went backstage, and we saw Jey Uso, and Sami Zayn was there. Sami Zayn ended up telling Jey that the time they had together, that was some of the best time of his whole career and his whole life. And he kept saying that he knows it was the same for Jey, and that in a different world, they would still be doing it. He kept saying, but that couldn't happen because of the tribal chief, Roman Reigns. And when the tribal chief is there, bad things happen. So Sami Zayn ended up saying that he did it too. He put the family first, just like Jey. He ended up saying, but it was never enough. He had his loyalty tested. The same thing that he is doing to Jey. So Sami Zayn ended up telling Jey that he has a big decision to make, and that he hopes Jey wins the United States Championship to show them that they need Jey more than Jey needs him. And he kept saying, but no more Jimmy and Jey, and no more Usos if he goes with them. Sami Zayn ended up telling Jey to go with his heart, not what is being put into his ear. So Jey looked at Sami Zayn, and he walked away. So pretty much, that was that. Sami Zayn, telling Jey, oh, the tribal chief, Roman Reigns, bad things happen when he's there. And that's where Roman is manipulating you. So, that was that. And then we had Kayla Braxton. Kayla Braxton ended up introducing the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. So they're still the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, and Kayla Braxton ended up welcoming Fire and Dawn to SmackDown. And then Ronda Rousey's music ended up hitting. Out came the Women's Tag Team Champions, Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. Shayna got on the mic. She kept telling Fire and Dawn that she wants clarification. She kept saying that Fire and Dawn want to call themselves as champions. She kept asking how much they know about the history of those titles. Shayna ended up saying that she is the reason those titles were even created. And that those tag team titles are hers. To which Ronda ended up saying that she has been crunching some numbers, and they are running through the division fast, and they will end up hungry soon. She kept saying that it made her realize that this division is not big enough for the two of them. So Ronda ended up saying that they want Fire and Dawn's titles. So Alba Fire and Isla Dawn end up laughing. They end up saying title versus title. So they end up accepting. Fire and Dawn then delivered some right hands to Ronda and Shayna Baszler, and all four of these women were fighting in the ring. Alba Fire and Isla Dawn ended up throwing both Ronda and Shayna out of the ring, and they stood tall, and pretty much that was basically that. So what they're doing here are we're gonna begin pretty much a unification match where the NXT Women's Tag Team titles and the Women's Tag Team titles are going to be on the line. Are they going to unify the titles? So we're only getting the Women's Tag Team titles, and they're going to retire the NXT Women's Tag Team titles. Pretty much looks like it. So we got some explanation as to why the NXT Women's Tag Team titles held by Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, are on the main roster. Where before this, we did not get any explanation about why Alba Fire and Isla Dawn are carrying the NXT Women's Tag Team titles on the main roster. So we all got our explanation tonight. So we got this explanation, but yet we still got no explanation as to why Brock Lesnar attacked Cody Rhodes. And then we have Michael Cole and Wade Barrett. They end up talking about the passing of the Iron Sheik, who passed away Wednesday night. And they did a tribute video, which was pretty well done. WWE's, tribute video packages, are always, very well done and, very good. And then we had Bayley versus Mia Yim. Money in the Bank qualifying match. Bayley was out there with Io Sky, and Mia Yim was out there with AJ Styles. AJ Styles was on commentary during the match. This match was just boring, in my opinion. Bayley ended up throwing Mia Yim to the outside, slammed her into the commentary table. She started mocking AJ Styles as Mia Yim ended up hitting Bayley with a dive off the ring apron. Mia Yim threw Bayley back into the ring and rolled her up, but Bayley ended up kicking out. So Mia Yim delivered some right hands. She ended up running to the ropes, and she ended up delivering a hurricanrana to Bayley. Mia Yim then delivered a DDT to Bayley. She ended up going for the cover, and Bayley ended up kicking out. So at the end of the match, Bayley ended up hitting Mia Yim with the rose plant. She ended up going for the cover, and there you go. Bayley ended up winning the match, and she is now qualified for the Women's Money in the Bank. Which obviously knew that Bayley was going to win the match. Post-match, AJ Styles ended up standing up, and Scarlett got in Styles' face. Scarlett then ended up blowing this red powder in Styles' face. And Karrion Kross, he was standing behind Styles. He was in the crowd, and he locked Styles in the cross jacket. Mia Yim then ran towards Styles as Scarlett ended up jumping the barricade, and Kross ended up letting go of the cross jacket. So pretty much that was that. AJ Styles is still in this feud with Karrion Kross, still continuing this feud between both of them. And so next week on SmackDown is going to be a mixed tag team match. It's going to be AJ Styles teaming up with Mia Yim to take on Karrion Kross and Scarlett. And then we went backstage, and we saw Adam Pearce and Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair was talking to Pearce. She was very angry, and Adam Pearce ended up saying that tonight he is presenting Asuka with a new women's championship, and that Bianca Belair can have Asuka. So Pearce ended up telling Bianca not to attack Asuka. So Bianca ended up telling Pearce he wants her to do nothing. To which Pearce ended up saying that she is in line for a rematch, but to leave it alone for tonight. So Bianca ended up saying, "Oh, I'm getting a rematch, and I will not get involved." So pretty much that was that. We're still continuing this feud between Asuka and Bianca Belair. And then, as SmackDown came back from the commercial, the OC were backstage. Mia Yim ended up telling them that they will get Karrion Kross and Scarlett, that her and Styles will get Kross and Scarlett. And then we saw Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce was in the ring, and he was about to unveil the new Women's Championship. And he introduced Asuka. So Asuka ended up coming out. Asuka got into the ring. Adam Pearce ended up telling Asuka that on behalf of WWE, it was his pleasure to present the Women's Championship, as Asuka ended up giving Adam Pearce the Raw Women's Championship. So Adam Pearce then unveiled the new Women's Championship, which it looks just the same as the title that they gave Roman. With the yellow, the WWE logo with the yellow background, and it was just a white strap. I'm like, this is the exact same title that they gave Roman, but only, it has white straps. Another cheese-looking belt that WWE made. So now we got two cheese belts. We got the one that Roman is wearing, and now one that Asuka is carrying. The WWE Women's Cheese Belt. And the one that Roman has, the Undisputed WWE Universal Cheese Belt. God, how lazy can you be? Absolutely fucking lazy. It's the same looking title that they gave Roman. Garbage. Awful. And then we got the return of Charlotte Flair. Oh, God. She makes her way back, and already she's in the title picture. Watch, she's going to get a match with Asuka. She's going to defeat Asuka, and there you go. Charlotte Flair, once again, going to become Women's Champion. Absolutely fucking awful. Charlotte made her way out. She got into the ring. Asuka was looking all confused. Adam Pearce then ended up asking Charlotte, what is she doing? Pearce ended up saying that he thinks he knows, but Charlotte needs to get in line. So Charlotte got on the mic, and she ended up telling Adam Pearce, this is what she said. This is what she said to Adam Pearce. She ended up telling him, excuse me, I don't wait in line. I made the line. Yeah, more politicking your way into the title picture. God, they just hand her everything. Title opportunity after title opportunity after title opportunity after title opportunity. It is absolutely fucking awful how they cater to this woman. So Charlotte ended up telling Asuka that no one respects her more than her. No one. Charlotte ended up saying that she knows what Asuka can do, but she wants that championship. Oh, I'm not surprised. And can you all take a guess what she said? If you said she is challenging Asuka for the title, ding, 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 you win nothing. Well, Charlotte ended up saying that she wants to challenge Asuka for the title. How many fucking times have we seen Charlotte and Asuka go at it? So Asuka ended up speaking in Japanese. Charlotte ended up telling her, really? And Asuka ended up saying she accepts. God. We have to endure another match with Charlotte and Asuka. So Charlotte then ended up telling Adam Pearce, when he makes that match official, he can put the Raw title around her waist too. So Asuka ended up going for the blue miss. Charlotte moved out of the way. She kicked Asuka out of the ring. And that was that. Awful segment. Charlotte coming back, politicking her way once again to be in the title picture. And telling Asuka, oh, I want to challenge you for the title. Watch. They'll give Charlotte the title again. There goes Asuka's reign as the women's champion. It is really disgusting how they give Charlotte opportunity after opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, and she doesn't do nothing to earn an opportunity. They just hand it to her. God. So disgusting and awful. And then as SmackDown came back from the commercial, Jey Uso was backstage, and Paul Heyman ended up coming in. Paul Heyman ended up telling Jey that he got him. It was a cliffhanger. He then ended up telling Jey that he needs his passport because he will fly Roman's private jet to Money in the Bank. He ended up saying that he needs his suit measurement because next week there will be a triple celebration. Paul Heyman ended up saying that Roman Reigns will be there, the new United States champion, and number 3, a public acknowledgement that Jey shall be groomed by Roman Reigns himself as the next tribal chief. So Jey was smiling as Paul Heyman extended his hand. Jey ended up telling Paul Heyman that he loves it, new United States champion, and to count him in. He ended up saying that he doesn't know why Paul Heyman is so happy, because if he is in the bloodline, that means Paul Heyman is out of it. So Jey ended up walking away, and pretty much that was that. Now we saw Adam Pearce. Pearce was backstage on the phone. In came Bianca Belair. Pearce ended up telling Bianca that he will figure it out and that she has his word. And Bianca ended up telling Pearce that he better. So pretty much that was that. And then we had Butch versus Baron Corbin. Money in the Bank qualifying match. We had Butch end up making his way out. And then Baron Corbin. Carmelo Hayes, the NXT champion, was in the crowd along with Trick Williams. And Baron Corbin ended up saying that he hopes that they are enjoying the show. And he looked at Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams, and Baron Corbin ended up telling them he is going to put one on, as he will defeat Butch and go and win Money in the Bank again. So, pretty much that was what Baron Corbin had to say, and then the match got underway. Match was just meh, in my opinion. Butch delivered a drop kick to Baron Corbin as the bell rang, and then Butch delivered a kick to Corbin's face. Butch climbed to the second rope, and he ended up delivering a tornado DDT to Corbin. Butch went for the cover. Corbin kicked out. Butch then climbed to the top rope. He ended up going for the moonsault, but Corbin moved out of the way. Butch then landed on his feet, and Corbin then delivered a backbreaker to Butch. He was delivering some right hands. Corbin ended up going for the end of days. Butch ended up landing on his feet, and he delivered a kick to Corbin. Corbin was on the ring apron, but Butch grabbed Corbin's fingers, and Butch ended up twisting Corbin's fingers. Butch then ran towards Corbin, but Corbin ended up hitting him with a right hand. Corbin started talking trash to Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams, and he got into the ring. Corbin ended up going for a choke slam to Butch, but Butch ended up rolling Corbin up, and he ended up getting the win. So Butch won the match, and he's now in Money in the Bank. Post-match, Corbin ended up going after Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams. So officials and security had to come out to break them apart. So pretty much that was that. But overall, very meh match between Butch and Baron Corbin. And as SmackDown came back from the commercial, the Brawling Brutes were celebrating backstage because of Butch defeating Baron Corbin, and Butch is going into Money in the Bank. So we had Megan Moran. She ended up asking Butch how he is feeling. He ended up saying that he is going to win Money in the Bank and that they are going to celebrate in the UK. So Corbin then interrupted the Brawling Brutes. He ended up saying that it wasn't fair. And then Corbin was attacked by Cameron Grimes to the moon. And so pretty much that was that. But obviously, Butch winning, I knew that Butch was going to win because, of course, it's in his home country, Money in the Bank. And then we had Shotzi versus Io Sky, last Money in the Bank qualifying match of the night. So Io Sky was accompanied by Bayley. So the match got underway, which the match was just meh, in my opinion. So Bayley then distracted Shotzi. Io Sky ended up attacking Shotzi. Io Sky ended up grabbing Shotzi, and Shotzi landed on her feet. So Shotzi ended up turning things around. Sky ended up delivering a kick to Shotzi. Sky then climbed to the second rope, and she stomped on Shotzi's hand. Sky then ended up slamming Shotzi's arm on the top rope. Sky then climbed to the top. She jumped off, and Shotzi moved out of the way. Shotzi then delivered a bulldog to Io Sky, which was followed up by a knee to Io Sky's face. Shotzi then delivered a suplex to Sky. Sky was in the corner, and Shotzi ended up slamming into her. Sky ended up rolling to the outside, and Shotzi then delivered a suicide dive. Shotzi then threw Sky back to the ring. Shotzi climbed to the top rope. Bayley got on the ring apron, and she distracted Shotzi, and that led to Io Sky delivering a right hand to Shotzi. Io ended up going for a suplex, but Shotzi ended up slamming Sky face first onto the mat. Io then distracted the ref as Bayley pushed Shotzi, and Shotzi's neck ended up hitting the top turnbuckle. Sky then ended up climbing to the top. She ended up hitting the moonsault onto Shotzi, and Sky ended up going for the cover. So there you go. Io Sky ended up winning the match. So now we have Bayley and Io Sky in Money in the Bank. So it's going to be, interesting there. So then we saw Kayla Braxton. Kayla Braxton was backstage with Austin Theory, the United States champion. Theory ended up telling Kayla Braxton that he was the last one to find out about this match, and that's disrespectful. He ended up saying that he doesn't make excuses, and that he had no time to prepare. But these days, he keeps getting wins. He ended up saying that Jay will return to the bloodline as the loser he is. Theory ended up saying that if Paul Heyman is looking for someone new, to watch Austin Theory live next week. So, can you imagine Paul Heyman, company in Austin Theory? That would be pretty cool. Austin Theory being a Paul Heyman guy. So then as SmackDown came back from the commercial, Sami Zayn was backstage. And in came Kevin Owens. Sami Zayn ended up saying that he spoke to him, but he doesn't know. Owens ended up telling him to focus on the tag team titles. And then in came Pretty Deadly, Cringe Deadly. So they ended up asking Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens to defend their titles against them. Owens then ended up asking who they are. And then in came the Brawling Brutes. Then it came the OC, the LWO, the Street Profits, and Adam Pearce. And they were all arguing about having title opportunities. Kevin Owens then started to yell and go crazy. started freaking out. Sami Zayn ended up trying to calm him down. So what is this now? Every week that Kevin Owens is going to start freaking out? Like, every time I see that, I'm going to be like, all right, well, Kevin Owens is overacting, when he's having these freakouts. So Adam Pearce ended up saying next week they will have a gauntlet match. Oh, here we go. A gauntlet match. In a way of WWE's logic of not putting anything else on the show and just extend the show with a gauntlet match. And Adam Pearce ended up saying that the winners of that gauntlet match will face Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for the undisputed WWE tag team titles. Great, so we get a gauntlet match next week. Just great. Are you all tired of WWE from time to time doing gauntlet matches? Every time they announce a gauntlet match, like I said, it's WWE's way of saying, oh, well, we got nothing else to put on a show, so let's extend the show with a gauntlet match to kill time. That's all it is. So then we had the main event. Jey Uso versus Austin Theory for the United States Championship. And this was a good match here, in my opinion. This was a good main event. Match started off with Theory locking in a headlock as Jey ended up throwing Theory to the ropes. Austin Theory came back and delivered a shoulder tackle to Jey. Theory then ended up running to the ropes, but Jey delivered a right hand to Theory. Jey then clotheslined Theory to the outside. Jey ended up going to the outside, and he threw Theory over the commentary table, and then SmackDown went to commercial. Then when SmackDown came back from the commercial, Jey was in control of the match. He delivered a jumping neckbreaker to Theory in the middle of the ring. He went for the cover, and Theory kicked out. Jey then ran toward Theory. Theory ended up tripping him up, and then he ended up hitting Jey with a drop kick. Theory ended up going for the cover, and Jey kicked out. Theory then delivered a right hand, and Jey ended up hitting Theory with a super kick. Theory then falled onto the ref from that super kick. Jey climbed to the top rope, and he ended up hitting Theory with the Uso splash. He ended up going for the cover, but of course, the ref was knocked out. So, Cringe Deadly ended up showing up from nowhere. And they ended up hitting Jey with right hands. And then out came Jimmy Uso. Jimmy ended up hitting Cringe Deadly with super kicks. Solo Sikoa ended up running down, and he ended up hitting Jimmy. Solo ended up going for the Samoan Spike, but Jey ended up blocking it. Jimmy then ended up going for the super kick on Sikoa, but Sikoa moved out of the way, and Jimmy accidentally super kicked Jey. So Jimmy and Sikoa ended up fighting to the outside, and that led to Theory ended up going for the cover on Jey. The ref ended up counting to 3. So there you go. Austin Theory ended up winning the match, retaining the United States Championship. Post-match, Jimmy then went to talk to Jey in the ring as Sikoa and Paul Heyman ended up standing watching on the outside. Jey then ended up pushing Jimmy away. Jimmy ended up telling Jey that he didn't mean it and that he was trying to help Jey out. Jey then left the ring. He ended up looking at Paul Heyman and Sikoa. Paul Heyman ended up telling Jey that he is sorry. Jey looked at Paul Heyman and Sikoa and Jimmy, and he ended up going to the back. Paul Heyman had a smirk on his face, and he ended up saying, "Call Roman Reigns," on his phone. And pretty much that was basically how SmackDown went off the air. But overall, I thought this was a good main event between Jey and Austin Theory. Obviously, Austin Theory was going to retain the United States Championship. We all knew that. But overall, SmackDown was just a mid-show, in my opinion. Moving on to AEW Rampage. which Rampage was a solid show tonight. So yeah, we had the Lucha Brothers and Bandito. They ended up taking on Ethan Page, Lee Moriarty, and Big Bill. Trios match. We had Powerhouse Hobbs in action. He ended up taking on Caleb Crush. We had another trios match where the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn ended up taking on Serpentico, Serjabico, Luther, and Angelico. That match screamed AEW Dark. In the main event, we had a number one contenders match where the winner will get to face Toni Storm for the AEW Women's World Championship, this Wednesday on Dynamite. It was Sky Blue versus Britt Baker versus Nyla Rose versus Mercedes Martinez. So Rampage was a solid show tonight. So Rampage opened up with the trios match, Bandito and the Lucha Brothers versus Big Bill, Lee Moriarty, and Ethan Page. And this was a decent match here. Phoenix and Ethan Page started the match off. Phoenix ended up taking down Page. He ended up countering with his own takedown. Phoenix then ended up hitting Page with a huge drop kick. Phoenix then tagged in Bandito as Ethan Page ended up tagging in Lee Moriarty. So Lee Moriarty ended up shoving Bandito. Both Bandito and Moriarty were exchanging blows. Bandito then ended up spinning Lee Moriarty around. Bandito ended up continuing to beat down on Moriarty. Bandito then tagged in Penta, and then Moriarty tagged in Big Bill. Big Bill stared down at Penta. Big Bill then grabbed Penta, and he attempted to chokeslam Penta, but Penta ended up delivering a thrust kick, and Bandito ended up coming in. Big Bill was sent to the outside by Penta. Penta was attempting to leap through the ropes onto Big Bill, but Big Bill ended up delivering a huge fist to Penta's face. So all six men were on the outside. Big Bill tossed Penta back into the ring. So Ethan Page was back up on the ring apron. He was jawing at the fans. Big Bill had Penta in the corner, and Big Bill started choking him. And then Rampage went to commercial. Then when Rampage came back from the commercial, Bandito ended up tagging in. But Big Bill ended up catching Bandito with a huge kick to his chin. Big Bill then tagged in Moriarty. And then he tagged in Ethan Page. Ethan Page ended up dropping Bandito with a power slam. He ended up going for the cover, and Bandito kicked out. Bandito went and tagged in Phoenix. And Phoenix was able to kick Page, to which Ethan Page ended up falling out of the ring. The Lucha Brothers then double teamed on Big Bill because Big Bill ended up coming in. Penta then ended up tossing Bandito onto Big Bill, who was on the outside. Penta took down Ethan Page. He ended up going for the cover, to which Ethan Page ended up kicking out at 2. So we had Penta, Phoenix, and also Bandito. They ended up triple teaming on Big Bill. Phoenix hit Lee Moriarty with a huge cutter, which looked very good. Phoenix was on the top rope. He ended up hitting both Big Bill and Lee Moriarty. So then Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy end up coming out along with moaning Isaiah Cassidy. So Matt Hardy was talking to Ethan Page. Of course, the Hardys end up, owning Ethan Page now. So Matt Hardy ended up saying to Ethan Page that they will fine him if he doesn't extend the Jeff Hardy arm gear he had folded. So as Ethan Page ended up having his back turned, he was nailed by Bandito. Bandito ended up going for the cover. So there you go. Bandito and the Lucha Brothers ended up winning the match. Overall, it was a decent match, decent trios tag team match. And then we saw QTV with QT Marshall and his QTV gang. QT Marshall was saying that QTV needs to be edgier as AEW Collision is coming. So QTV's gang ended up talking about buying everyone ice cream and then talk about making an announcement. So we had QT end up saying that Champ needs to go out on Rampage and show the fans what Collision is all about. Who cares? Who cares about QTV? And then we had Powerhouse Hobbs. He ended up taking on Khalid Crush. And Hobbs was out there with the QTV crew. This was a squash match. Hobbs ended up winning. Hobbs ended up dropping Crush with a spine buster. And pretty much that was that. So Hobbs loses the TNT Championship. And he is reduced to being on Rampage. But at least he was on TV. At least he got TV time for a little bit. So then we had Arn Anderson and Wardlow. They were being interviewed by Renee Paquette. And, this was them talking about, Christian and Luchasaurus, attacking Brock on Dynamite on Wednesday. So Wardlow ended up talking about an open challenge with Jake Hager for the TNT Championship this Wednesday on Dynamite. So this Wednesday, TNT Championship is going to be on the line. Wardlow versus Jake Hager. So pretty much that was that. And then we had the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn versus Serpentico, Sajabico, Angelico, and Luther. This screamed a match that you would see on AEW Dark. So you had Serpentico, Angelico, and Luther. They end up coming out first. And then the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn made their way out. And this was just an okay match. Wasn't great or perfect. So the Acclaimed came out to a big ovation. The match started off with Anthony Bowens and Angelico. Angelico ended up raking Bowens' eye. And we had Bowens end up coming back. He delivered a huge drop kick to Angelico. So Serpentico ended up tagging in. And then Bowens tagged in Max Caster. Serpentico ended up sending Caster to the floor. So we had the Acclaimed then double teamed on Angelico with a Sesame Timbers. So the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn, they were in the ring with Serpentico. Billy Gunn then slapped Serpentico with a huge right hand. Luther came in the ring as Billy Gunn ended up nailing Luther with some right hands. So then as Rampage came back from the commercial, Max Caster was back in the ring and he tagged Billy Gunn. Billy Gunn ended up hitting Luther with the fallaway slam. Angelico ended up catching Billy Gunn and he ended up dropping Angelico down to the mat. Billy Gunn ended up dropping Angelico to the mat as Bowens ended up tagging in. Bowens ended up dropping Luther and he tagged in Max Caster. Caster ended up landing on Luther with a huge mic drop and he ended up going for the cover. And there you go. The Acclaimed and Billy Gunn ended up winning the match. Overall, okay match it was. And then we have Renee Paquette. Renee Paquette was interviewing Jeff Jarrett, Karen Jarrett, Satnam Singh, Jay Lethal, and Sanjay Dutt. So Karen Jarrett called out Aubrey Edwards. If you remember last week, Aubrey Edwards and Karen end up going at it backstage. And we had Aubrey Edwards end up coming out. So Mark Briscoe also made his way out. So Mark Briscoe, made his way out along with Aubrey. Aubrey got on the mic. She ended up saying that AEW will not sanction a match between herself and Karen Jarrett because she is a referee. Good. Can you imagine if they did that? Aubrey versus Karen? That'd be fucking awful. So Aubrey ended up saying that is due to out of respect that she is a referee. Aubrey then ended up saying that if she sees Karen anywhere in the back or in catering, she will kick Karen's ass. So Mark Briscoe then ended up telling Aubrey that he has had conversations with important men in high places and will not sanction a match between Karen and Aubrey. But they will sanction a mixed trios tag team match. So Sanjay Dutt ended up telling Mark Briscoe that he is tagging with Jeff Jarrett and Karen Jarrett. He then ended up saying that he isn't from Delaware and that he can count. So Sanjay Dutt ended up saying to Mark Briscoe, oh, there is only 2 of you and 1 of them. So Sanjay Dutt ended up asking Mark Briscoe, oh, where's the 3rd man? So Mark Briscoe then ended up saying that the 3rd man is Papa Briscoe, which got a big ovation from the crowd. So it's going to be a mixed trios tag team match. It's going to be Sanjay Dutt and Jeff Jarrett and Karen Jarrett versus Aubrey Edwards, Mark Briscoe, and Papa Briscoe. So, but that, in my opinion, for me is just, yeah, don't care. I don't care. Main event. Women's 4-way match. Number 1 contenders match. The winner will get to face Toni Storm for the AEW Women's World Championship this Wednesday on Dynamite. So Sky Blue versus Nyla Rose versus Britt Baker versus Mercedes Martinez. And this was just a very meh main event here. So the match got underway. We had Mercedes Martinez and Britt Baker on the outside. Nyla Rose and Sky Blue were in the ring. Nyla Rose then ended up tossing Sky Blue into the ropes. Nyla Rose and Britt Baker end up going to the outside as Sky Blue ended up taking down Mercedes Martinez. Britt Baker ended up coming back in. She started working on Sky Blue. Nyla Rose went back into the ring. She started working on Britt Baker in the corner. And she delivered a big boot to Britt Baker's throat. Maria Shafir ended up coming in. Oh, great. Forgot to mention that Maria Shafir was out there. So Maria Shafir ended up coming in. She ended up having Britt Baker in a rear naked choke. And Hikaru Shida ended up coming out. She ended up hitting Maria Shafir from behind with a kendo stick. And she ended up hitting Maria Shafir with the kendo stick as they went to the back. So as Rampage came back from the commercial, Mercedes Martinez was hanging on the ropes. Nyla Rose climbed to the top rope. Britt Baker pushed Nyla Rose down to the floor. She ended up hitting Mercedes Martinez with a sling blade. She ended up going for the cover, and Mercedes ended up kicking out. Sky Blue came back in. She ended up hitting Britt Baker with a thrust kick, and she ended up going for the cover, and the pin was broken up by Mercedes Martinez. So Britt Baker attempted a lockjaw on Mercedes Martinez, and Sky Blue then attempted a submission on Britt Baker, but Nyla Rose ended up kicking Sky Blue to the side of her head. Nyla Rose ended up kicking both Sky Blue and Britt Baker. Mercedes Martinez then kicked Nyla Rose in the face as Britt Baker ended up stomping on Nyla Rose. Britt Baker then dragged Mercedes Martinez to the outside. Sky Blue then ended up coming in. She ended up hitting Nyla Rose with the finisher, the code blue. And Sky Blue ended up going for the cover on Nyla Rose. And there you go. Sky Blue ended up winning the match, which I am shocked at. But obviously, I know why Sky Blue, won. So she gets to face Toni Storm this Wednesday on Dynamite, where she will be taking the loss, of course. So Toni Storm ended up spray painting the TV in the back, and pretty much that was how Rampage ended tonight. But overall, the match itself was just meh, in my opinion. But a solid, Rampage it was tonight. But Sky Blue will be taking that loss to Toni Storm Wednesday on Dynamite. And that's the only reason Sky Blue won, was to take a loss to Toni Storm this upcoming Wednesday on Dynamite. But anyways, that's it for my review of SmackDown and AEW Rampage. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this review. Definitely give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. And until next video, I'll see you all later.